those who are listening, think about, what do you want to be known for? What is you? And then what are like 5 topics that without thinking a lot, you can actually write about? I think one of the biggest conclusions is never try to compare yourself to somebody else's middle or end, right? And that is just so humbling, but on the other hand, so crucial, because otherwise we get into this constant imposter syndrome. Like, well, I'm not like them, so I'm never going to get started. I just try to learn on the go as much as I can, and then just wrap myself with the best team I can to just keep on progressing. And now we can start standing on the shoulders of what we achieved, and we just get more results. Results is a numbers game. And, we just want to try more things, especially for entrepreneurs.
You're listening to the Real Business Connections Network. Real Business Connections Network. Powered by Balbert Marketing, LLC. Subscribe now and check us out at realbusinessconnections.com. Enjoy the show.
Done is better than perfect, Ben.
Let's talk about it. Well, what does that mean to you personally?
Yeah. So what I've seen is perfectionism is like a really hard one. Like, people want to be perfect. They want to do, perfect things. That's how we're learning in school. But there is no perfect. There's never going to be a perfect pitch or a perfect resume or a perfect post or article, whatever. It's never going to be perfect. And what's really important is the momentum. And I think that, trying to get to that perfection is actually hurting us. And so that became a motto. It's something that we work with our clients. It's something we work with everybody around us, because the clarity always comes from action, not just thinking about it, procrastinating about it. And the more you're trying to get to that perfection, you just don't take action. So, the action will bring results, Ben.
It's power. I mean, I'm a firm believer that clarity comes from action, not thought. But that being said, like, even if like perfect's not obtainable, I still want to be really, 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 really good. I want to be close to perfect. Can I still do that?
Well, you can thrive and try, right? But I think that the thing is, when we overanalyze things, we just don't take action. And the truth is, we always going to stand on the shoulders of what we achieved and try to aim higher. And the more we're going to run through these really quick experimentation, we actually going to learn so much more. We're going to get the momentum. We're going to get the feedback. And now we can start standing on the shoulders of what we achieved, and we just get more results. So results is a numbers game. And, we just want to try more things, especially for entrepreneurs. So it's a big thing.
So you've worked with countless businesses, you've scaled businesses, you've kicked a lot of butts. It's not always perfect. You even said it, like, we got better. Done is better than perfect. Give us an example of like a career decision you made that maybe it didn't even feel like the right one, or it was like a good enough one, and maybe people doubted you. And what happened?
I mean, it's a great question, Ben. I mean, first of all, I think most of my life is sort of built on that. I don't know what it means about me, but, I was a tech executive. I was always a vice president, theoretically ticked a lot of boxes of success. But I was more in tech, cloud, etc. So moving to entrepreneurship was very, very different. And I've never been a coach. So starting a coaching company theoretically was completely off. And if I would overanalyze this, I might have never, I would try to get all the accolades and all the certificates, but then you see all these people that have certificates, but they don't know what to do with it. So for me, the big thing was, okay, you know what? I'm just going to try. I'm going to see what I can actually do for professionals. Can I actually help them reinvent and leap their careers? Can I get them to elevate themselves? Can I get them more confidence? Can I get them more better titles, etc.? And if I can, great. Can I actually engineer it to do it to more people? And we're now one of, Inc.'s fastest growing companies in America, right? And we've been startup of the year last year. But it's really more because we just moved really, really fast. We didn't try to perfect it. We tried the best we can with the biggest heart we can. But we didn't try to collect all the certificates. Like, we just try to learn on the go as much as I can, and then just wrap myself with the best team I can to just keep on progressing. So
you're
I don't know if that's
proving,
a good example.
It is. You're proving that you can leap. because
Yes.
reflect on this, because I don't think it's bad advice. One day at a time, baby steps, keep moving in the right direction. All of that is good. You're going to move in the right direction slowly if you do that. But you guys are over here leaping. You're like jumping. You're like taking shortcuts or something. Is that what you're
And
doing?
I think it is about that. So I think when you start analyzing and trying to get to the perfect market fit and the perfect plan, you're never going to make it, especially not entrepreneurship because it's so unclear. You really, I mean, the grass always is greener on the other side. It's always unknown, right? So you're never going to have all the answers you want anyway. So you might as well be comfortable with this uncomfortable situation and just learn as fast as you can. And I mean, that's how I started my podcast. I basically told my team, hey, I have this really great guy that I can interview. The only problem is that I don't have a platform to interview them. Let's start a podcast. So I think this is kind of how I like to think. But I think it just creates a lot of momentum, and the momentum gets the clarity, the momentum gets the progression, the results, and then you just continue.
Tell us about the podcast, because I don't want anyone to click unsubscribe here, but I don't mind sharing my time with yours, because it'll be out by the time this drops. Like, you just interviewed Richard Branson. Tell us about the podcast.
So it's very different than yours. So they should subscribe to both.
Cool.
But really, for us, it's about interviewing some of the top CEOs and presidents in the world, like Richard Branson, like the president of Starbucks and Shopify and the founder of Zillow, et cetera, et cetera. And the idea is basically to hear what their career journey would like. Because for me, when you start having a map of journeys and a map of what's possible, you can now start creating your own decisions on your career in a different way. And you also see these patterns. They're actually, like you said, like, we chatted before, all your episodes, a lot of it is about mindset and taking action. And at the end of the day, what you actually hear again, 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 that it was really hard for everyone. And the only question is, when do they give up or they don't, right? And that's when you learn from all these biggest thought leaders in the world and CEOs in the world that it's just incredible to watch them. So that's what the podcast is about, just like unraveling the truths that usually we don't hear because we see the glamour and we see all these amazing things. What we don't see is what these CEOs went through, and the mental gain, and what it actually took a toll, in order to get to where they are. And the more you understand that, now you can replicate it for your own success.
This is slightly unrelated, but I'm realizing it in the moment. As a solopreneur, I tend to forget that the CEO of Starbucks or Richard Branson, Virgin Airlines, they didn't like roll out of bed with a huge company. They started as a small startup, right? So, talk a little bit about that. Like, if someone's still in a small business, they're established but not huge, what are some of your top tips that you've learned from these big shot CEOs?
It's such a great question, Ben, because I think one of the biggest conclusions is never, never try to compare yourself to somebody else's middle or end, right?
Sure.
And that is just so humbling, but on the other hand, so crucial because otherwise we get into this constant imposter syndrome like, well, I'm not like them, so I'm never going to get started. I think Lisa Bilio actually told me a beautiful quote and said, don't make me extraordinary to get yourself off the hook. And it's just so true, right? We sometimes see these CEOs and we're saying, well, I'm not like them. Well, it's true. Maybe you're not so like some of them, but there's, if you're not going to make them extraordinary, but you're actually going to strive for more, this could be your future. And there's a beautiful quote that we say, we always going to overestimate what we can do in a year, but we are going to underestimate what you can do in a decade. And when you start understanding that there's a bigger play, if you actually going to start taking action, it's incredible to watch what the decade can have, can unfold.
So I want to support you as you're making huge leaps, big plays. What is your big play for the upcoming year? 2025, what is your big play? And how can I
Um,
support you on it? That's the
I
key.
love that. I love that. So first of all, on end of February, we're gonna have the biggest event we've ever had. We just came back from a big event, but this one is gonna be, exponentially bigger with like amazing speakers on stages, like investors and venture capitals and CEOs that sold multiple businesses. So I really wanna every single person to be able to see the truth behind the scenes and then realize that they can do this too. And if we're able to create, people that are unleashing their full potential and feeling that they're the best version of themselves, what else is available in the world, right? Like they become, their families are happier, their companies are happier, society is great, the world is
Yeah,
better. So for me, again, Leap Academy, our programs, I want them to continue growing, changing lives. We have thousands of clients a year that go through it and just, leap their careers, leadership and more, wealth, etc., reputation, etc. But then I do want, like, our events are starting to be bigger and bigger. Our
that's
podcast
cool.
is bigger. So all exciting stuff, Ben.
And if you're watching the video, there was links on the screen. It's in the description. I'm grabbing my pen and paper because did you say is there a date for this event in February? Is it in
Yeah.
person? Is it virtual?
It's going to
Um,
be a live event. It's February 28th, March 1st in Silicon Valley, which is my hometown, so
oh,
that I
really?
can bring the best speakers on the planet to be there.
I've never been to Silicon Valley.
I know, Bay Area is California.
So bringing the listener on the inside of this, we're recording this in 2024, but I'm thinking to myself, I got to I was gonna possibly release this like forever because I have so much in queue. I'm gonna literally like turbo track this because not only do I want to go, I want to find friends to go with me.
Yes,
So
dude.
if you'd like to go with me, you know how to reach me. Now that I already have a pen and paper in my hand, give us our assignment because yeah, like I don't want to be shelf help. I want to actually integrate. I guess one assignment is I could go to the event. That's a great way to integrate. But whether or not I go to an event, how can I take these concepts we've discussed really briefly, but like take action immediately and put it
I
to
love
action?
that. I love that. And by the way, we'll have many more events, so everybody
Okay.
can join us. But seriously, like the big takeaway for me is I want you to really think what you want to be known for. Those who are listening, think about what do you want to be known for? What is you? And then what are like five topics that without thinking a lot, you can actually write about? Because again, that your reputation and everything in 2007, we became a media company. If nobody hears from you, the assumption is that you have nothing to say. So think of five topics that if they wake you up in the middle of the night, you can just talk about them, write them down, and just make sure that you're starting to take action and put them on LinkedIn or Instagram, wherever that is for you. But take action so that we're going to start getting those results.
I love the concept of someone posting it on social media. At least write it down for yourself. If you want accountability, DM one of us two. And if you want a lot of accountability, make a post about it. How does that sound?
Exactly.
So the event's in February 28th, March 1st, you said. Is there 28 or 29 days? I don't even know.
It's
And the podcast is
Leap
called
Academy with Ilana Golan.
And You're awesome. We did not have enough time together. I hope to have you back, and I appreciate your time today. This was kick ass.
Ben, you're awesome. And your podcast is incredible. So, listeners, chime in and subscribe to him. So, it's incredible.
Thank you.